Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be drafting the pattern for this beautiful dress, particularly the neckline. Okay, so I find this neckline so beautiful and I decided to recreate, except that I don't have the material at hand to make the dress. So I'm going to be using a pattern paper to illustrate how the upper part of this dress is achieved. So if you want to see how it's achieved, make sure you watch to the end and consider giving this video a thumbs up. Let's dive into the video. So to begin, the first thing I'm going to go ahead to do is to draft my basic bodice. So I've already done this so many times in the channel. So I'm going to quickly go ahead and do this, okay? So if you don't understand it, you can always go and check my channel. You are going to see a video that is related to it in a way. So let me just quickly go ahead. Here is the bust point, the under bust point, and the half length, okay, while here is the shoulder. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take my basic neckline, which I normally use 3x3. You should be conversant with it by now. Then I'm also going to take half of my shoulder measurement, and then on my shoulder measurement I'm going to come down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect all the dots. Then from the slants, like we normally do, I'm going to take my armhole depth, which we get by dividing our bust measurement by 4 and adding 1.5 to it. So now we have our chest line, right? So having gotten this, I'm going to go ahead and connect my armhole depth. All right, so I'm going to get my armhole curve at this point. I'm going to divide whatever I have here by 2, and at that point I'm going to go in by 1.5. So on my chest line, I'm going to divide my bust measurement by 4 and add, I'm going to divide my bust measurement by 4. Okay, so now I'm going to connect this point, and this point with my curve. Right, so when I've gotten this, the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do is to take my dart. Alright, we already know how to take that. Divide your nipple to nipple measurement by 2. Whatever you have, place it on your bust line and also the under bust and the half length of the top. Then I'm going to connect with a line. Alright, so having gotten this, I'm going to take our basic dart, which is 0.5 inches on both sides of the dart, okay, as you can see me doing. So I'm going to connect after getting the dart. I'm just going to go ahead and connect the dart legs. All right, so when we have gotten this, the next thing I want to go ahead to do is to shape. So here we have our bust line, and then I'm going to measure my waistline as well. All right, just measure my waistline and then replace the dart, which is 1 inch here. I'm going to go ahead and replace. Alright, now that I've gotten this, I'm going to go ahead and join. Alright, remember we're making a bustier, so this is just the basis. So I'm just going to go ahead and start working on the bustier. Alright, so to work on the bustier, the next thing I'm going to do before that is to take my my bust dart, okay, and my bust dart is the difference between, we get our bust dart by getting the difference between the front waistline, the front half length, and the back half length. And when I did mine, it was 2 inches. So as you can see, I used 2 inches to do this. So I just used from 2 to 4, which is 2 inches, to get my bust dart, and also I divided it by 2, which is 1 inch, okay, because I'm going to be connecting it to the bust line. So also on the bust line, I came to the shaping side, towards the shaping side, by 1/4 inch. All right, so I'm going to be ending my dart there. I'm going to be ending my dart line there, as you can see. So I'm also going to be connecting at the center. This is because I'm going to be slashing on that center when the time comes. All right, so when I've gotten this is the part where you get to pay attention. First of all, I don't know if I mentioned that I have this pattern paper on fold. All right, so now we are going to go ahead to the bust tightening, to the under bust tightening. For the under bust tightening, regardless of the dart we already have here, I'm going to go out from that dart we already have by 3/4 of an inch. Okay, I'm measuring from here. All right, I'm measuring from 1 inch, so I'm going to go out by 3/4 of an inch, regardless of the dart. From this dart leg now, okay, I'm going to measure the exact same thing on the other side, 3/4 of an inch on both sides. Okay, that is for my under bust tightening. And when I've gotten that, I'm going to go ahead to connect it to the bust point. So this is what we have. The next thing I'm going to go ahead to do is to divide my armhole, which is what we have here, right? We already have my armhole divided by 2 here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this point to this point here. Can you see how I'm doing this? Okay, like this. Okay, I've connected. So I forgot, I'm supposed to connect this one downwards. All right, I'm just going to take it straight down. Take this one straight down as well. Okay, so when we have gotten this, we are going to come down on the midpoint of the armhole by 1 inch. All right, 1 inch. And when we have gotten that, we're just going to connect. Okay, we're just going to connect it back to the other side. This. All right, so when we have gotten this, I'm going to extend this point by 1.5 inches. This is because after you are done joining the both sides, you're going to find out that they are no longer equal. Okay, you're going to find out that this your armhole will be shortened a bit. Okay, so it's important to come out by 1/2 inch so that after joining everything, it's still going to be equal with your actual armhole. All right, so when I've done that, the next thing I'm going to do is to connect it back to the normal armhole like this. All right, so next we are going to go, the next thing we are going to do now is to find a way to fold away this dart. The next thing we are going to do is to transfer this bust dart to armhole. And for us to do that, we are going to first of all slash through the armhole like this. Okay, we're going to stop at the bust. Then I'm also going to slash this part so we can fold it away. Okay, then I'm just going to fold away like this. All right, can you see what we have? So when we fold this away, can you see we have space here? This space we have here is more than 2 inches. All right, the space we have there is more than 2 inches. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to straighten this up. So we have, I'm just going to connect from here to here. All right, because if you take away this dart, you're going to see that that part has shortened a little bit. All right, so see what we have here. This is what we have here. Okay, so now we are going to start by cutting off this part. We are going to cut off this part. Okay, so you are going to decide if you want to cut off this part as well. Why? Because the dart we have here is already enough. When we transfer this dart to here, what we have here has space, is already enough to get a curved cup, a very curved bustier. Okay, but if you want it to be even more curved, you can go ahead to cut this out, but I don't want it to be too curved now, so I'm going to go ahead now to use this part. Instead of cutting this 1 inch out, I'm no longer going to cut it out. I'm going to use it. I'm going to cut right there. Okay, I'm going to cut right at that point instead of cutting it out now. All right, so just watch closely to see what I mean. All right, so but before we start cutting, I'm going to go ahead now and put our measurements. Okay, so on the bust line, As you can see, we already have a wider dart, so we're going to retake our measurement. So our bust measurement, this is our bust measurement now. Okay, so from there we are going to replace what we have here. As you can see, we have 2 inches here, so we are going to replace that 2 inches. Okay, so on the waistline as well, we are going to impute what we have, and then we are going to replace our dart, which is also 2 inches. All right, so we are going to go ahead now and connect. Okay, all right, so this is what we have now. This is what we are going to be cutting out. So now we are going to cut out everything we have here. Alright, so this is what we have after we are done cutting out. Okay, so to start working on the neckline, you will want to join this part. Okay, you are going to join this part together before you start working on the neckline, because if you notice, you are going to see that the neckline the style kind of enters the armhole. So I'm going to quickly go ahead and join this together. I'm going to be using my tape to join together. All right, so when I finish joining together, we are going to be back. So this is what it's going to look like when you are done. So go ahead and trace your pattern out on your fabric, then you continue with the process. But me, I started to use the paper, so we see what it's going to result to. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to determine the side I want the depth of the neck to be, because if you remember the style we are making, the style we are making goes like this. Okay, it has a little bit of slant like this, right? That is the style we are making. So we are going to determine which part is going to have this depth. Okay, so for me, I chose the left side. This side is definitely the left if I put it on, right? So you are going to determine how deep you want it to be. All right, so from the tip of the neck here, I'm going to go down by 6 inches. All right, so here comes the 6 inches here from the tip of the neck. Right, so after you determine the depth of the neck, the next thing you want to determine is the length of the shoulder. All right, so here I want to use 2.5 inches for the length of the shoulder. So I'm measuring from the tip of the armhole to the length that I want. So I want to use 2.5 inches. Okay, so when I've gotten that, I'm going to go ahead and connect to the depth. Okay, so I'm going to slant it a little bit like this. All right, so this is what we have. Next, we are going to now connect this side to that part, and if you look, you are going to see that it did not come straight. It did not come straight like this. Okay, it has a little bit of curve, then curve again. So we are going to try to achieve exactly what we are seeing there. All right, so now I'm going to go in with the depth first. It goes in like this. I'm going to use a pencil first so I can clean if I do not get what I want. All right, so like this, and then we go on like this. Okay, so we have it. Go on like this. All right, so this is what we have. So let me just make this a little bit clearer now that we have achieved a perfect fit. All right, so this is how the neckline is going to look. Cool. This is how the neckline is going to look. So the next thing, we are going to cut off this part of the sleeve because we are going to be having a style there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just to follow this line. If you look very closely, you're going to see that it's not straight. Right, it not just go down straight, it has a little bit of curve. So this paper is actually disturbing, but I'm going to still go ahead and achieve what I want. Okay, so I'm going to follow the line of the neckline here and just go down like this. Okay, so that is what we have. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and cut. I'm going to cut out the neckline first. After cutting out the neckline, we are going to go ahead now and cut out this part of the sleeve. Okay, so when we are cutting this sleeve now, we are going to cut it as one piece. It's not going to have this joining of the armhole princess that. Okay, so this is what we have now. The next thing we are going to do is to introduce another piece of pattern paper that we are going to be using to get the we're going to be using this pattern paper now to get the star at the front. Okay, so just place your actual fabric on top of another pattern paper, making sure you leave enough allowance on the down part. Okay, so I'm going to be using this marker to trace out because we want to get the exact neckline we have here. I'm just going to use this marker and trace out. Just watch closely. I started tracing from the shoulder, traced here, till I get here to the armhole. Okay, so I'm also going to mark the midpoint. So here is the midpoint, as you can see. So now this is what we have. What I'm going to do is to determine how long I want that flap to be. I don't know if I should be calling it a flap. That star at the front, I want to determine how long I want it to be. So here, this is the center, right? I want it to be like 7 inches long. So here, I mark here. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to connect from here to here and then from here to here. All right? So this is the full shoulder, right? I want to minus 1 inch or half. I want to minus half an inch from the shoulder. Okay, so that it's not going to enter the sleeve when we are fixing the sleeve. And I'm just going to connect. You can use your free hand, but I just want to connect with my curve. Okay, connect to this part, and then connect to this part. Okay, so this is what I have. You can make this longer, you can make it shorter. Okay, this depends on what you want. All right, so I'm going to go ahead now and cut. Okay, so this is what we have, right? So the final thing we are going to do now is to place this. Okay, can you see? We are going to place this on top like this and hold it down. I'm still going to go in with my tape. All right, so if you are making yours and you are already making it on your actual fabric, just cut this into two. Make sure that the fabric you're using is the same thing with the one at the back, because this might be like standing up and people will be seeing what you have under. Okay, so make sure at least you use the matching lining or use the actual fabric also has a lining. Then place it here. Make sure you place it here before you turn your lining. Okay, so here I'm just going to gum this. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and use my tape to tape this together. Okay, tape this together like this. Okay, so when I get to this side to this armhole side, I'm going to first of all fix the sleeve. Right, I'm going to fix the sleeve and then place it on top like this. Okay, but if you are making yours on your fabric, you will want to place this here like this. Okay, then place your fabric, your sleeve here like this, then use your lining to turn everything inside. Okay, or you can fix your lining and everything, even fix your sleeve, then use this one to turn everything outside. There are different ways you can achieve this. Okay, there are just different ways you can make this. So if you don't understand and you want me to do a video, you want me to make this style myself, so I can do it, I can make a detailed video on this. Just tell me in the comment section, so I will find a fabric. I'm supposed to like make a detailed video on this, like sew a complete cloth on this, but because I don't have a nice fabric to go with it for now, I decided to just show you guys how to go about the neckline, because I know some people the neckline will really be an issue. Okay, so here I'm just taping the hand, the sleeve, okay, and then I'll just go in with this one. I'll just go in with this one like this. Can you see this? I mean, this dress, when I saw it, I was like, I'm definitely recreating this dress is so beautiful. And here I am. So any day I'm actually going to recreate it, I'm going to be using this exact pattern that I made here, because this pattern is so fun. Okay, so can you see what we have at the end of the day? This is what we have at the end of the day. So guys, we have come to the end of this tutorial. If you enjoyed this video or if you find it helpful, please hit the subscribe button and also turn on your post notification. Please also give me a thumbs up and then share this video to people who might need it. Also, if you want to see the detailed video of me making this dress for myself, do tell me in the comment section. And if you have any tutorial you want us to post in the channel, please also tell me in the comment section. I will see you again next time. Bye.